to storm President Trump's home, to harass parents and pro-life activists, and to target you. That's why I wrote my newest book, Corrupted, How the Left Has Weaponized Our Legal System, to arm you with the facts, to hold our government accountable.
Read Justice Corrupted, the latest book from best-selling author Senator Ted Cruz. Available at Amazon and wherever books are sold.
The latest from AccuWeather at the top and bottom hour, only on AM 860 Answer.
Today, low variable clouds, a passing shower or two in the afternoon. The high will be 80. Tonight, clear skies, and a low 69. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a high 87. Tuesday, low clouds, then perhaps some sun. It'll be breezy in the afternoon with a high 86. Download the redesigned AccuWeather app. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Garrett back for AM The Answer.
For everything from questions about cucumbers to homes on cul-de-sacs, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Ask Mr. the Dad, and James DeFreitas, the son. For the next hour, call in with your questions about garden, growing your favorite veggies, and growing your prostate. Locally, call 83289-1860. Toll free at 877-969-8600. And now your hosts, Stan and James DeFreitas.
And I am Stan DeFreitas, Mr. DT, Mr. Greenthumb, and my son James is off today. Every third week, I usually do a live show. And this is November the 6th, and replayed next Saturday evening, so you could be listening as well from 8 to 9 p.m. This is, of course, all of you early risers are probably enjoying the change in time. How are you doing, Mr. Kim?
Time, Stan. Why?
Why?
I forgot to change my clock last night.
Oh, we're running around like a chicken with your head cut off this morning.
Well, I just got in here and everything seemed awfully dark.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that happen? Yeah. So it's
I'll go to bed early tonight.
You'll get yourself back. Yeah, I would just assume they picked one time. I know they were talking about it. The Congress said they were going to pick one time and stay with it. But as so many times, you'll get the Senate and the House on the same page.
And this is one of those times. It's been like 3 or 4 times. I don't know.
Yeah. I understand something that has to do with international policy or something that's really important. I could understand maybe there's going to be differences of opinion, but surely the Democrats and Republicans can come together on
there's got to be some reason we don't know about.
I don't understand. I guess they did it originally to help supposedly save energy, get people up earlier. Farmers are up early anyway. Most farms are corporate, the big ones. So I don't know if I see the real, I don't know if I see any advantage.
Does it affect financial markets at all?
Well, they say typically the day after the market almost historically goes down after it can change either way. And there's more accidents. There's more kids that get hit by, they're up in the dark. So they're going to school. So if you're out there, slow down and watch. I noticed coming across today from Pinellas into Tampa, the sun was horrible. I had to come to a light and literally almost to a stop on Hillsborough because I couldn't see if it was green or not. And I thought, this is kind of important. And I said, one day I go off without my shades. I normally
get some Ray-Bans for Christmas or something.
I've got 3 or 4 pairs of sunglasses at any given time. I have old ones that I don't mind working in. If you get scratched by a branch or something. The other good point of wearing glasses is that the glasses shield your eyeballs from potential problems. And, the sun can be a problem in itself. And also, of course, if you're cutting twigs, or a lot of people had a lot of that because of the hurricane. Even here, we didn't get a direct hit. I mean, you could multiply it by a factor of 100 if we had a great big storm. And I said my heart goes to the people down below us because it literally literally looks like a bomb has gone off down in some of the areas in southwest from wherever. And you probably have some of this from Chicago or New York or wherever, Indiana. One of my relatives I talked to from Indiana, and they were saying, you guys do okay. And I thought, well, it hit, further south. So we got a little bit of problems, but I said nothing in compared to our poor southern neighbors. And, and this is one of them I talked to who grew up in St. Pete. So she should know kind of what 100 miles makes a difference in her. I mean, not the wind, but you didn't get the big boats, big ships up on land.
Right. No sailboat in my garage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were out there hoping. Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Your Christmas wish. Yeah, well, you're lucky it would have a huge hole the size of a Volkswagen or something.
That's right. I get the minnow. That's right.
The SS Minnow, and not the skipper and Marianne and the whole crew. So, anyway, we are here to answer your questions live, which means if you want to call us at 1-877-969-8600, or you can call 289-1860. Is in control. He will pick up the call. Say hey to Ken. Hear him all the time. I'm here on FLA. I'm going back to my old days. Sorry, 40 lashes to
this is a
AM 860, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going back in my brain to a different time and era, and I don't think I'm quite ready for brain death yet. Yes, I did spend time at the other station for a long time. And do you ever find yourself doing that? The numbers where you were. But, anyway, so
for me, things I used to have to do at different times during the morning, like I would have to. No, nobody even knows who Paul Harvey is anymore. I don't think, but
this is Paul Harvey.
Good I used to have to record his program and play back at a different time.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah,
exactly, and I would have to play that back at a specific time an hour later, and I would always record it at like 7:30. Now, if I look at the clock today, to this very day, that was like 30 years ago. I look at the clock at 7:31 today. I will instantly have a brief second when I should be reaching for a tape recorder.
Going for Paul Harvey.
Yeah, Paul Harvey is great. Yeah.
He'd slip you into that Buick commercial before you knew it.
He was seamless. Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And boom. And you're like, boom. And you're going, oh, no, I was had. And then you liked Paul Harvey so well, you didn't even care that he was.
That's right. Because you weren't going anywhere. You were going to listen to the rest of that show.
Because he had something else interesting. And he usually had some what I call good news, which no one does today. But, you have Mimi and John Rogers celebrate their 75th, wedding anniversary in wherever, Tacoma, Washington. And you're thinking, oh, that's kind of neat. That was good for them.
Big champion of the farmers, too.
He was, yes. He believed in the farmers. I believe in farmers. Like people say, are you a farmer? Well, I have farmer's mentality. I've raised all kinds of, tomatoes and broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cabbage and tomatoes. You name the vegetable. If I grew it, I could live in other people. Some of the pitfalls that may occur. I used to say that, I said, in Florida, we have, nematodes, fungi, bacteria, weed seeds, virus, and other than that, backyard is trouble-free. But it always got a little laugh, and because people know it's true. We do have some problems. No, they have problems in other parts of the country, too. It's just we seem to have it 12 months a year. It's kind of like we have a little bit of winter and then have summer. And maybe, I was happy that we had a little early because of the hurricane. I mean, I was sad that people got clobbered by a hurricane, but it happened to bring, when the low pressure moved there, the high pressure came down, and we were in good shape.
It was a nice break. Yes.
It was great. I was going, gosh, folks, I'm so glad. I'm sorry for you. But boy, is it nice to have cooler weather in early October here, because normally it's just another 85-degree day.
From what I've been seeing, it's going to be a warm winter in Florida.
Could be,
Yeah.
could be. And you actually said, right, winter. It always kills me. Some of the meteorologists will go, winter. You're a meteorologist. How come you can't say winter? Put the T in there. But it's just a habit.
My 100.
100?
People say 100. 100.
100. Okay.
No, it's 100.
Hundreds. Well, I'm going to say my mother was an English teacher type and English major, Shakespearean actress type. So I used to always go, make no never mind to me. She'd go, you can't be my son because.
That's you, Mom.
Yeah, I knew the butchering the English language would get a rise out of her. So I often did. Which I probably do today, and I should say every time I do it, I'm doing it in her honor. Not a mistake.
What do you do without? It's very different between a hot winter
and when you're at Publix, which I was the other day, I thought, why am I not growing more? Because, well, it's harder for me now than it used to be. But I used to grow a big garden, and I would have, a number of broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. All of those do great. Tomatoes, peppers, eggplant. Some of those Solanaceae members, and remember, Solanaceae means sun lover, they really like a bit on the warm side. If you can go below freezing, and I hate to say the F word, freezing, but if you say that, if we do go below that, you normally are cooked. And often tomatoes that look just fantastic in October, November, can start to look bad if we get that early. If we do get, let's say one of your relatives comes down from upper New York State or Michigan or Indiana or Ohio, and they bring that and it goes down below 32, tomatoes look a little bit upset. If it goes down to the 20s, they're usually dead. Now,
so it's a bit of a gamble.
It's a little bit of a gamble on some of the tropicals. But now, if you go heavy with broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, those, a little bit of cold, a little bit of freeze even isn't going to kill them. In fact, I think they actually bounce back the next day and go, well, that was refreshing. So they're fine. And they are good with cheese. Yeah. And we were talking with Brian earlier about the guy who I think was pork rinds and whiskey, and they said if he ate a veg, he might have died earlier. He was only like 90, which reminds me of my good buddy Ken here. We keep preaching to him, and the doc does too. Cut back on the smokes, but tell you if you've got some problems with trees or lawn, I have a sign back here. Time, which is what I do. So you stay with us here as the Plant Talk and Real Estate Talk continues here on AM 860. The end.
Call James DeFreitas at 727-254-7127 or go online, aflre.com. Broken air conditioner? Keep your home's AC running smoothly all year long with the Easy Breezy AC. With thousands of active commercial and residential customers, Easy Breezy AC is Tampa Bay's most trusted HVAC company. Easy Breezy AC cares about those in need. Donate 2 cans of food and reap $20 off a $79 service call. Go to easybreezyac.com, promo code Greenthumb for an additional $10 off your service call. Call 727-856-HVAC. Life's hard. Comfort's not.
Choose Stafford Tree Service. Is it experienced, had the latest equipment, and friendly professional personnel? Absolutely. Stafford's positioned themselves as a leading tree trimming company in Tampa Bay. With honest professionals and competitive pricing, they'll earn your trust too. In business for over 15 years, Stafford Tree Service is licensed, bonded, and insured to provide you the very best tree trimming experience. Call today, 727-546-8786, 727-467-86, on the web at StaffordTreeSVC.com.
Biophilia, our innate attraction to other living things. It's why people love plants. And around Tampa Bay, plants, that's PLANTZ, is bringing nature inside, in workspaces and homes by delivering beautiful foliage plants. Our plants increase oxygen and filter out pollutants, reducing stress and improving progress. Get you in touch with your biophilic side. Go to PLANTZ.
Well, everybody cries, yeah, but you never see it coming from someone that you don't know, perhaps.
Is focused on the Family Minute with Pat Linnell.
So, for instance, I give a birthday present, remember it's your anniversary. There's a producer today, it's her birthday, happy birthday.
Yay, Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley, there's some occasions of it's my birthday. You know, let's
celebrate.
Let's celebrate. But when I get loved on, when it's not my birthday, not my anniversary, and it feels good, it's out of the blue, most people that we get to experience fun and joy as a believer is that kind of taste of grace, that little element of surprise, whether it was just kind of creative, something about that, or you met a new moment that you saw.
More from Pat at FamilyMinute.org.
Did you know the human body does not make its own vitamin C? That's right. That's why it's critical to supplement your diet with a good source of vitamin C every single day. Aqua Powder Vitamin C is a safe, effective, and delicious way to get the powerful vitamin C your body needs. And it's easy. Just mix with water and drink. Feel more energy, boost your immune system, and fight free radical damage. The secret is that Aqua Powder's vitamin C combines nature's most potent forms of vitamin C, including Acerola cherry, to deliver 2,000 milligrams per serving. That's real protection. And Aqua Powder's vitamin C is available on Amazon. That's spelled AQUAPOWDERZ. Vitamin C is one of the best things you can do for your health, and Aqua Powders is one of the best ways to get vitamin C. So go on now and Aqua Powders vitamin C today. Remember, Aqua Powders.
Welcome back to the Ask Mr. Greenthumb in Real Estate Show. Got questions about perennial flowers? Watch us closing on your new call 813-289-1860. Toll free at 817-969-8600. And now your hosts, Sam and James DeFreitas.
And James, of course, is off on the third week. I am live. This is Sunday. I am here. This is the 6th. And that means you can give us a call if you've got a question. And we've got Mr. Ken there in Master Control. He'll be picking up the line. So occasionally we go over some conversation with him. I did bring in a leaf from our magnolia out here in the pot at our mighty studios at AM 860, The Answer. And they've got a little bit of fungus on them. But most of the leaves that had this dropped. So that's good. I was out checking. Somebody's put a wire to the tree. I'm not sure why. It looked like the fungi draped it from there to the building. But I was getting ready to cut that line today, but I thought, well, it may be the line coming in.
I wouldn't be doing that. No, it's probably not a good idea.
Probably line for the station. So it did look a little suspicious on the way it was drooped. I thought, that doesn't look like a professional, electrician type did that. But I thought, well, who is it from? I was more worried about the tree than I was covered. But I thought, well, if I cut that wire, I'm probably in, the signal may go.
I think that's very.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're probably going to.
I think so. They'll get to it. Sure.
But so I just
either that or stay stealing cable.
Well, but I doubt it. We are kind of a Christian base, so
I think we're probably doing that.
I doubt there'll be any cable theft here at AM 860. The Answer, and if we are, realize we are very conservative and Christian station, so maybe God would look the other way for us.
I don't think that's even a remote possibility. We're stealing the cable, Stan.
All right. Well, you're the one who brought that idea.
I know. It's going to be funny.
I know you are. And I'm just kidding. Yeah. They're probably out there stealing the cable. Oh, we're probably not. I was noticing in real estate that guess who owns the most money in real estate? Real estate owns most of the U.S. or has a lot of it.
China.
China, yeah. China has $6.1 billion. That's $6.1 billion worth of residential real estate. And you're, is it an even playing field? Can we buy real estate? Well, sure you can. But have that now. Canada, which I love Canadians because they're, they come here and we all speak the same language. And they seem like most of the time. They are 5.5 billion. So not too far behind the Chinese. India has 3.6 billion in property. Mexico has 9 billion, and Brazil has 1.6 to round the top purchasers of real estate outside of America. So I often wonder, we should be, when the market goes down, thing says we should have real estate prices should go down.
That would follow usually.
And yet it hasn't. But when you start thinking about people with billions buying up property in it's states with the biggest share of foreign buyers. Which one would you think that is? You're right. Once again, Florida, we lead the nation. We have 24% of the buyers, according to the study, and this is in the Realtor magazine that I'm using as my reference source. Sales of the biggest share of total foreign buyers is 24%. California behind us with 11, Texas 8, Arizona 7, New York 4, and North Carolina 4. So those are rounding off the where they are buying, and it may be one of the reasons also that Florida is a little bit. I keep thinking we should be seeing some reduction. Now, I will say we're seeing houses a little bit longer to sell. The time from sign out to the time that you get a buyer, it's taking a little bit longer. And usually in the cases where it didn't sell before over a long period of time, the house was priced incorrectly. Just because you're within, let's say 8 miles of doesn't mean you put up your sign and say waterfront property. Almost.
Plus, economically, it's going of the.
Yes.
Ask what you want, and you shall get that and more.
Yes. And in the old days, even just a year ago, often people were coming in, sometimes paying 10, 15, 20, 25, 5,000 over the price. So you'd get into a bidding war. And
but those days don't go on.
So I think you're seeing pretty much going to be on target. The low ballers, and there's always low ballers that come in and go, I'm going to offer you half of whatever that. I always find that amazing, but you always get some of those. I know you folks out there who are in real estate like I am too. James and I, with our, actually I should say James's dream at real estate. It's amazing to me, and we've been with some of the big boys. We've been with Berkshire Hathaway, Remax, and AW. So we've been with all the biggies. We just thought James is a broker. Why not start our own deal? And so we may be looking for some investment money for people who want to buy in and maybe do some moving of properties, high-end flippers, if you will. But we are still working on that. We're still putting things together. So don't know if we're quite ready for somebody that's going to come in. Hey, here's $20 million and just tell me when it's at 30. So we're not quite there yet. But, I have I know James is a smart young lad, and I trust him completely. I'm so proud of having a great son and a good relationship with my son, who is, I hate to say it, smarter than I am, but he is on so many levels, and certainly when it comes to real estate, things like that. But I did pass the state test too, so often, James, like I said, here I am with a cane, normally getting around to show a property, but I will get there and I will help, or I have my stroller thing I can use. I've used it before. still move. So I'm not green side up, as we like to support business. He the LT workers green side up with a sod, because if they did the other, it's not too good. But I will say I'm seeing a lot of folks where their irrigation isn't working, and how? Because it starts to look like a desert. Our sandy soil does not hold moisture very well. So if you had areas you didn't notice because it was so wet in hurricane season, it only takes a few days in our sandy soil for a change, and that would be a major problem. So
sometimes it's off. I know I turn mine off for
sure.
the summertime.
2 inches, 3 inches of rain, that's pretty fine. You just have to go out now and check it to make sure it's working. We'll talk more about that on the other side of the break. But I will tell you that you're listening to the Ask Mr. Greenthumb Gardening and Real Estate Show here on AM 860, The Answer.
Interested in having a home consult? 727-423-4794 or on the web at askmrgreenthumb.com. Did you know that Stan DeFrida's Mr. Greenthumb can come to your house and examine your plants, trees, and palms? His knowledge can help you become the envy of your neighborhood with lush green, healthy trees that don't just live, but thrive. Palms and oak trees are what makes a beautiful place to live, but they get diseases and are often cut down. We offer ways to save your trees. Call or text Stan today at 727-423-4794 or go on to askmrgreenthumb.com. That's ASKMR.
AM 860 The Answer. Listen on our website, theanswertampa.com, at 93.7 FM. The Answer Tampa app or from the Answer News Center. AM, it's The Answer.
Online at theanswertampa.com.
AM 860. The Answer.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented against the IRS, and by the time everything was complete, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just 3. Don't call now. 800-506-58.
Lots of channels, nothing to watch, especially if you're looking outside of big corporate control. It's time to interrupt your regularly scheduled programs with something worth watching. The new Salem News Channel. Straightforward, in-depth insight and analysis from the greatest collection of conservative minds, all in one place. SND is home to Dennis Prager, Mike Gallagher, Sebastian Gorka, and more. Watch anytime on any screen. Free 24/7. Find what you're looking for at snc.tv.
Welcome back to the Ask Thumb in Real Estate Show. Connect online at Ask 813-289-8877. Your host, Stan James DeFrides.
And James, of course, is off, but I'm live. So if you've got a question, I know I had a call, actually, a text last week from Buddy Parm, who has a company called Collister and Parm, who is, I guess, one of the owners. And had he contacted me, said, "Hey, I call your show, but they said your show was recorded." So yeah, we do record some shows, and then I usually in everything in case somebody has some question pertaining to something that's going on in your backyard. James and I often record a couple of shows, and we either talk about real estate or I'll talk about gardening. Actually, James is coming along quite nicely in horticulture as well. As I always say, I took him with a mind full of mush and turned him into a forest here on the greens with Professor Kingsfield.
I love Paper Chase. That was a great movie and the show.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did. I always thought, and not that I'm an attorney, but I've worked with a bunch of attorneys. Does that count? I've worked in a bunch of court cases in eminent domain, which, by the way, if you're out there and they come to take your property, you probably are best off to hire an attorney to represent you, because by law, you have a right that you should not be injured. Now, they can take your property, but they've got you fair market value, and that also includes your plant material. And in general, most appraisers don't know laurel oak from a water oak, a red bull, and all those factors make a difference. And that's a reason people like myself, little buddy Joe, and many others, homeowner, to get them the most money that they're entitled to. You know, if the government wants to come in and take your property to widen that rule, put in a new police department, they can. It's part of the Constitution. And I'm not giving you any legal information here other than if you have reparation, you almost always are going to do better. And that's true. I mean, I hear that through some of the local attorneys that advertise on TV and radio. And they're right. They'll say, look, if you've got somebody watching, you normally are going to be in a better situation. And I'll say the same thing for real estate. You probably are better off 99% of the time to have a realtor to look at your property and help list it and help do the showings and listing the property. You know, it's easy to say, well, I don't know if I want listings or I want showings through my property. Those factors. I know there's some firms out there that advertise, you know, no showings, no open houses, anything. Just
no profit.
Just let us buy your property. Hey, I want to do that. It's easy. So I'm not going to tell you you can't do that. I'm going to tell you, in my opine, I used to have an attorney I worked with all the time who used to love, what is your opine? And I thought, well, my opinion is this, but you're probably have to have somebody help you because, you know, real estate deals somebody that can be a negotiator. Now, one of the questions up from time to time is, you know, do I have to disclose their offers? Well, you probably, as a realtor, need to have that discussion with your seller and say, hey, can I disclose that we have other offers? Or sometimes people say, no, I really don't want. Just tell them, just bring me the best offer, and then I'll decide. But sometimes you'll get into some, and as an auctioneer that basically specializes in real estate, I can tell you that that's what I want. If I get viable people that want to get into a bidding war, that's the reason we get into we got 500,000, 525, 525, 530 over here. You know, you want to have a little competition because competition is better. And you know, it amazes me the talent. We've got the quarterback of all time, and I'm sure for all, and I'm sure for them. But see, I know hear that, even if we're not doing that well this year. And I'm hoping we will turn it around today, though I think, LA has a pretty strong team too. I'm not sure what their record is either this year. Selves, if I remember, but there's another who can pick me up on that in a heartbeat.
Well, the year the Buck won the Super Bowl, it was a slow start as well.
It was. Yeah, they lost one through their first early games, didn't they?
I think more than one or two. Yeah.
Okay, but they still came on. They came on at the end.
Haven't held yet. They'll get there.
And I can tell you, being a former runner in my early life, coming on last 110 is where you win or lose the race. And used to runner. I do that anymore, but I did. And gosh, when I was a youngster, I used to actually feel like a high of going out and running. I would start off in Northeast St. Pete, go through the golf course, over the bridge, and to St. Pete, and then back. And I would stop once.
I've heard that from other runners.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a high that you can get from it.
But you got to run a long time before you get to that point, apparently.
Sure. Well, you're really putting a lot of effort, a lot of miles. The youngster, I used to run so long that my feet would start to bleed sometimes. So it probably was, but that was one of the things I could be better than average at. Yet, it's like anything. Someone else that is also
always so faster. Those records will always be broken.
That is true. So that we are here. I'm going to say I'm surprised how much foreign money is in the country, and especially in Florida. But maybe I shouldn't be. Florida's a beautiful place. Our taxes more reasonable than many states. It's one of the reasons so many people are coming from New York, Connecticut, New Jersey.
The Chinese money, is that investment money?
I think most of them come to buy it for investment. Yes, I think that they're you're always seeing more places going up, and if you've got apartment buildings built, I think that's one of the greatest ways to make money. If you can afford to have that regular rental income coming in, it's a moneymaker. So, I know there are a lot of folks out there doing that, but I'm surprised always that a lot of the money is coming in from other places. And I guess that shouldn't surprise me at all, but I guess I'm surprised when I look at the amount occasion that's coming in. But I'm sure it's used. A lot of that's just residential, but there's also, I'm saying a lot of apartment building up, a lot of rental big buildings. Big complexes that are 2 blocks, 3 blocks long.
Oh yeah, 4 stories, elevators. Oh
yeah, it's not just I think of real estate often as the single family home, but that is one place that people are buying, and corporate people are buying that too, and turning those into rentals and or selling them off after they come in. And
so competition with John down the block trying to buy a house.
No, yeah, we think about other people who have access to millions of dollars and billions of dollars. I sometimes wonder if it isn't money that's sometimes being sent by us over some other purpose that gets repurposed to come back and buy up.
Can't we sell this property and pass it out to the homeless? We got a lot of homeless.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, wouldn't it be?
Yeah,
I haven't heard any politician talk about that, but
well, maybe I'll run. That's
all right. Both friends here, as he will be the politician that will take that money back from the communist and give it. I think that you have a winning platform, Ken.
All right, I'll work.
I'm going to say next we'll see Ken going in there going, well, I talking to mommy just the other day. I decided to go back and be president.
My wife has specifically told me never to refer to her mom.
My wife has to, or if I say dear, which I often say to dear sweet ladies, she says, don't use dear, because I've heard you say that to a lot of ladies. And I go, all right, well, I won't say that, dear. Yeah. So anyway, we are here. Any things? How are things going in Sun City?
Stan, I just fired my second lawn guy.
Okay.
trouble.
Was he not mowing correctly?
He was mowing, but I don't know. I guess I blamed him for the way the lawn looks overall. I probably shouldn't, because all he really does is mow and trim, but he does fertilize once in a while, and it just wasn't looking good.
Actually, they should be licensed even if they're applying fertilizer. There's a license for fertilizer. I always like it when a lot of guys come in and go, well, they're not licensed control operators, so they shouldn't be doing any spraying. They can get a license for Roundup, but that only is for Roundup. It isn't saying that they can go out and start and shrubs. It takes a license for that. It just so happens I am licensed. I've been licensed for over 30 years. We don't do as much of that now. I like trees better. Lawns are a pain. It's hard not to have fungus. Brown patch, gray leaf spot, dollar spot for fungi. And then there's chinch bug, stud webworm, armyworm, ants. Always something out there causing some trouble.
Well, what frustrates me is that 2 houses down and across the street, there's somebody has a lawn that's just beautiful. I mean, just perfect.
They probably have somebody
Well,
applying.
they do have somebody buying it, but they're snowbirds and they're never out there, and I never see them, so I haven't found out who they're using yet. I'm going to find out who they're using. Maybe they can turn my lawn into something embarrassing.
There you go. Well, I don't think we have to have necessarily green screen you've ever seen, but I do think people want it to look good. I just looked at a condo briefly the other day, and I didn't really do a thorough. I asked a few questions. I said, have you put a rain gauge out? No. Put a tuna can out. Dog food can. Have you measured how much water you're getting? And they said, well, no. I said, well, that's one of my first assignments for you, to measure the system to see where the water is. And if not, then you need to drag the hose around, especially now we're going to our dry time.
Now, how much should we be watering?
You should probably be doing at least an inch per week, maybe up to 2 during the middle of summer.
An inch per week. I'm trying to figure out how long my system would have to run for an inch.
Well, I can tell you what to do. Turn your system on. You have a tuna fish can or
yeah, something, sure.
You have something,
Dog
little can.
cans, yeah.
You got a little can. Take the can, stick it in the area in the middle, maybe a couple different areas, because sometimes irrigation will be different. Out there and take a little stick and measure.
I know I'm there.
Hey, well, pretty. This is the Plant Talk and Real Estate Talk. 860, the answer.
Want to talk real estate? Remember, you're on the web at AskMrGreenthumb.com.
Why choose staff service? Is it because they're experienced, have the latest equipment, and friendly professional personnel? Absolutely. Stafford's position themselves as a leading tree trimming company in all of Tampa Bay. With honest professionals and competitive pricing, they'll earn your trust too. In business for over 15 years, Stafford Tree Services is licensed, bonded, and insured to provide you the very best tree trimming experience. Call today, 727-546-8786, 727-547-86, on the web at StaffordTreeSVC.com.
Biophilia, our innate attraction to other living things. It's why people love plants. And around Tampa Bay, Plants, that's Plantz, is bringing nature inside in workspaces and homes, delivering beautiful foliage plants. Our plants increase oxygen and filter pollutants, reducing stress and improving productivity, and get you in touch with your biophilic side. Go to plantz.us.
It is one of the top 5 most important purchases you're going to make in your entire life. International Diamond Center's Ryan McKellen talking about your engagement ring. We take the time to make sure that peace of mind. Certified diamond that is cut for maximum brilliance. And when I put my diamond up against a diamond that you can find in almost any other retail location, we're going to end up beating the competition because our product stands out to the eye of the beholder. It sparkles more, it jumps off the ring, and just outperforms. And that diamond. IDC has rings from premier others. longest warranties in the jewelry industry, backed by a family who stands behind every purchase for life.
Our integrity is take care of your ring for life. We invite you in as an extension of our family. Just know that you're getting top quality products. That peace of mind that the customer gets is unbelievable.
In Diamond Center for that once-in-a-lifetime purchase in Tampa, Water Lakeland.
Welcome back to the Ask Mr. Greenthumb and Real Estate Show. Got questions about perennial flowers? What about issues with closing on your property? Call 813-289-1960. Toll free at 877-969-8600. And now your hosts, Stan and James DeFreitas.
And I should say James is not here today, but I am. And I'm here live. If you've got a question, go to 877-969-8600. And that's any free world. And also, of course, 813-289-180. If you are in anywhere in the Tampa Bay market, that will get you to us. And I am here. Yes, if I come out to consults, there is a charge. I usually bring James with me. If there's things to be done, we normally, if we're looking at oaks, go out and look at your trees. If you see some sap, you see some leaves that are looking bad. If that palm tree is turning brown, and I don't mean just on that bottom row, which you kind of expect, but if it's in the middle of the tree, you probably have a bacterial, it can be leaf yellowing, it can be the Texas Phoenix decline, sometimes called bronzing, and we have it in Tampa Bay. And often it's in some of the most expensive palms, those big Phoenix ariensis, some of the big palms that you spend thousands on, and some people have spent, I've seen people spend a beautiful true date palm. So if you have that, you probably should keep an eye on it. If we catch it early, we can inject we put a port in. I should say we do. James usually does. I usually watch from the car. He drills a hole. We put a port in the tree, and we use oxytetracycline, which is an old antibiotic that used to be used on people. Today, there's so many different antibiotics, but it is one that used to turn people's teeth kind of gray. Remember that when people had a lot of antibiotics and their teeth kind of turned gray? Well, that was usually because of that from the oxytetracycline. I don't know why. I have to have some doctor tell me sometime why that occurred, but it did. And which is still probably better to have little gray teeth than die, because that's not, unless you want to meet the Lord early. Okay, I can see, but I think personally you should play the game out. Speaking of that, I was thinking of one of my somebody I talk to online almost every day is a customer we had named Jeffrey, who was in a nursing facility, and he called me up and he said, "You probably won't want to work with me because I don't have that much money." And I said, "Jeffrey, I will treat you just as good as if you were a multi-millionaire. I don't treat people differently because of the amount of money they have or lack thereof." And he told the story of where he was. His roommate at this nursing facility told him every morning, every night, "Here's a pillow. I could snuff you out in the middle of the night." And so Jeffrey was a little bit anxious about, he said, "Can you get me out of here?" And we did. We went through the process and kind of went over the extra problem, but I wanted to turn into a condo, which he did, and he was happy. He lived there a year or two, and Jeffrey is wheelchair bound. He is a brave soul. He moved to Ecuador, and I was trying to advise him against it. I said, "Ecuador is a beautiful country, but it has, Spanish style hard, brick streets that will live for 1,000 years. But you're in in a chair." And he says, "I'm going anyway." And I said, "Okay." And so we helped him sell again, and he moved to Ecuador. First day down, his wheelchair broke, and he called James, and James got on the internet and found him a welder in Ecuador to repair his chair. And I just said, he goes, "It's pretty good service." He said, "I never thought my real estate agents would go out of their way to make sure I had somebody, that would find a welder for me in Ecuador. But we said, hey, you're our buddy, you're our pal. We will go the extra mile for you. And anyway, that's just an example of I'm surprised. James, I said, I'm not sure how to find him a welder in Ecuador. And he says, I'll do it. He says, and I'll find one for him. And he did. So it's called service above and beyond the typical real estate agent. I'm sure there's many other agents out there that would also do that. But, I think that kind of is a little extra kudo for James. And the reason his new company is going to be Dream It Real Estate. If you can dream it, you can make it happen. And we've helped a lot of folks, but we intend to do a whole lot more coming up in the very near. Anyway, I will say inventory. Despite the signs of a recession, which we are, I think it's funny. People will say, we're not in a recession. Store, and it costs more. It's inflation. Now, I know gas prices went down, but I notice now the taxes are back up a little bit. That is inflation. If you're paying more now than you did a year ago, that's inflation. It's not a hard concept to realize. It's funny, I thought when I heard the speaker the other day, it was like, she must think the whole world, is really, really dumb, and we can't figure out what's happened. Buy things at the store. I thought, kind of insulting. That's another good word. When you look at your audience and think they're that stupid that they can't realize what they're paying more for. Now, with the typical inventory we still have, I would say there is an all-time high right now of 32.1 trillion of gain of houses are into outstanding mortgage that's owed. Just since the pandemic, there's been an increase of 8.5 trillion of outstanding mortgage with people who are in the minus category. So I say that just when I always think it's funny. It's like when the other person's unemployed, it's a recession. And when you work, it's called a depression. So it all varies on where you're at in the food chain at the particular time. And, I think even when you talk to people who are successful, like the good doc, he can probably tell you of times when, before he was a doctor, that he probably had some tough times here as well. An interesting story on he ought to write a book. So, that to him next time, Ken. I still intend to write a book called A Heart for. I have an outline I started, but often you start to write, and I don't think I'm a natural born writer. I get off to reading another book by someone else, or I am doing other things where we're looking either at other plants or trees or shrubs, or looking at quantities of plants or trees or shrubs. We work with some of the finest attorneys in Tampa Bay in the field of eminent domain. So if you are having that problem, give me a holler. I can steer you in the right direction. Some attorneys that we have worked with, some we used to work with, some we may work with, and I might advise you from. So give me a call on that. I'm amazed I've thrown this out over the years, and then I'll have people call me for personal injury lawyers and things of that nature, which I still can probably give you a few names of personal injury lawyers that I might trust, but I don't know that field like I do know the attorneys in the field of eminent domain. But we're there, of course, to answer your questions, which we do each and every week. Now you'll see hibiscus still in bloom. Hibiscus don't like it when it starts getting cooler. They don't flower usually quite as much, but since we're having 80-degree days, the hibiscus are going, it's still summer. But let me change. Find my roses producing roses. That's great. They usually like it a little bit cooler too. They can get into black spot and powdery mildew, a fungi, or a fungi. And it's funny, if it's multifungi, it's fungi, or fungi. If it's one fungus, if it's singular. But I always think it seems backwards to my brain. Anyway, there are a lot of talked about that last week out there. Some of the fungi are important. Some of them are helpful. The medicines that we've come up with have been medicine I take was actually cultured. It was soil from Japan that was kind of brewed, if you will, and came up with a variety of medicine that basically keeps me alive, which is kind of amazing when you think about stuff like that. That there are, you go, oh, it's all bad. Well, from something bad, you may come up with something good. And it all depends on what you're looking for and how much you're looking. And so I'm always amazed. If you look, came up with penicillin and kind of by it, but he did, and it's saved millions of lives. Think of all the antibiotics out there that have saved us from the bad guys. You think of the Black Death. 1 in 5 people died. Oh, the COVID was nothing compared to what we had. Anyway,
call James 2725 or go online aflre.com.